Considered one of the top-tier games in its genre, the Guilty Gear series has produced a plethora of memorable titles dating back to the days of the original PlayStation. Guilty Gear gamers have seen an evolution of their favorite fighter, as it has set a precedent for fighting games by embracing the absurdity of insane combo chains, counters, and flashy attacks, all the while bumping an impressive soundtrack and memorable characters on a 2D plane. With gaming's next generation in mind, the developers at Arc System Works have crafted another iteration that is sure to unite fans of the genre and potentially create an entire new fan base who have been striving for more anime-style fighting game action. After taking part in the 2 open betas, I readied myself to enjoy the frenetic action both offline and online. One of Strive's main marketing tools is the fact that it is made with the intent of garnering new players who have either not known about the franchise or shied away from Guilty Gear games due to its reputation for being incredibly complicated. Though Strive is a lot more player-friendly than its predecessors, there is still a lot to understand and potentially master, as displayed through the game's mission mode. Mission mode allows for players to attempt the base action of movement and the complicated methods of executing something like a Roman cancel that can slow down the opponent and leave them open for a high damaging combo. Mission mode can take players several hours to complete, especially when advancing to the more intricate techniques, combo scenarios, and character matchup options. Beyond training, there's a multi-hour long story mode that features no playable fights, just cinematics like a high-end anime. Players who want to fight instead of watching the story can go up the arcade ladder and even find allies in CPU fighters. Local play is available also for gamers with friends nearby. Online isn't too impressive from a presentation perspective, as players will be placed in tiered lobbies known as floors, with the initial placement coming courtesy of an AI fight. As the player wins and loses in their assigned floor, they will rise or fall. Players can also move up to higher floors on their own, but can't play on floors lower than the game's player-designated lobby. There's also an open park set of rooms that allows for players of all rankings to play against each other. A majority of the trophies focus on grinding out certain techniques, like the aforementioned Roman cancel, or winning after getting a positive momentum message. It may take a while, but achieving the platinum is definitely something I will attain in the near future. After spending a lot of time fighting online, going through arcade mode a few times, and doing my due diligence in training. To break down the gameplay of any Guilty Gear game would be almost staggering for those foreign to the series or fighting game novices. Strive's gameplay is rooted in what made the previous entry so entertaining, momentum built off of a series of impressive combos and special maneuvers. Each character has their own set of special attacks and maneuvers connected to their weapon or style of choice. Someone like the broadsword-wielding Soul Bad Guy specializes in mid to close range combat to pressure opponents, as does the fast-kicking new character Giovanni. Then there's a person such as Axel Lowe who performs best when keeping opponents at a great distance, though can adapt incredibly well when the fight comes within reaching distance. Other new character Nagoriyuki mixes the best of both worlds by lacking a dash, while having a long-reaching sword and sporting a second meter that, when full, after utilizing special maneuvers, allows him to enter a high-powered, health-draining blood rage. Easily one of the biggest positives in regards to Strive is its roster. Players will most likely discover certain characters aren't for them due to the style changes, combo options, and special maneuvers available. Each character plays differently, and discovering that particular character that someone can main and learn makes said character special will come down to trial and error. Though every character is different, all available characters have base attacks rooted in the series' 5-button system: punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, and dust strikes. Unlike the previous Gear games where players could begin a combo off a single punch, players in Strive will have to utilize a slash strike before initiating a series of attacks. Some characters can perform command moves to start combos as well. With these changes come shorter combo strings, yet bigger damage overall, presenting some fights that can end incredibly fast if someone isn't able to stop an onslaught. Throws also do incredible damage, but are easily avoided and will leave the potential thrower prone to a devastating counterattack. The aforementioned Roman cancel attacks can also work alongside special maneuvers. Upon doing something like Saul's ground fire projectile, the player can actually free bad guy from the animation to unleash more attacks alongside the projectile instead of being stationary, as the enemy is slowed down alongside a clock that appears overhead during a Roman cancel. RC drifting allows for players to run in and perform a Roman cancel without doing an attack, such as air dashing into an RC. Burst maneuvers knock back an opponent and are best used when being hit by a combo, but can only be utilized once a fight. A majority of these techniques need the usage of bars making up the tension meter, a meter that fills up following successful attacks and defensive measures. By pressing forward, landing a series of attacks, and keeping the pressure on the opponent can create a positive tension momentum that allows for the gauge to fill up faster, while the opposite will cause a negative momentum swing where the tension bar will lose meter and struggle to refill. With the tension meter being essential to executing high-level techniques like super maneuvers or overdrives, players must be aggressive while thinking about performing defensive necessities at any given time. There is one major gameplay addition to the combat: wall breaking. By pushing an opponent against one side of the stage and landing more attacks, will eventually press them against said corner. With another strike comes the shattering of the wall for both a stage transition and incredible damage to the character on the receiving end, resetting the neutral in the process. Gone, though, are the instant kills that would sacrifice an entire tension meter for the round to succeed. Though there are some great tools to learn the ropes offline, online is where players will get most of their enjoyment from Strive. Unfortunately, the way online is set up is absolutely terrible. On the positive side, the rollback netcode allows for a majority of online fights to play out flawlessly, not feeling like there's a big difference regarding input delay when comparing online play to offline. But getting into a fight, however, can be frustrating. Players must use a crafted avatar to run through lobbies to find opponents stationed at arcade machines. If the game allows for players to connect and play, they can only fight 3 times, with the winner of the last fight staying on the machine, ready for another challenger, even if said player lost the first 2 fights. Meaning some players give up after the first 2 fights. Thankfully, open park fights allow for infinite rematches, but both park battles and those floor tiers suffer from a lack of matchmaking. Players have to challenge their opponent without much information beforehand, other than the opponent's character usage level. The player can look up the potential opponent's R code to see their record, but the extensive time needed to get the info just takes away from starting a fight. And when the fight starts, there's a great chance the opponent will be more versed and knowledgeable, wiping the floor with their would-be challenger, even though they're on the same floor level. Without a true matchmaking system, beginners will struggle online and may become too discouraged to come back and try again. By playing online, players are gifted currency needed to buy unlockables like artwork and music, but there is a minigame to complement unlocking things: fishing. Fishing is necessary to attain the unlockables, as the player will have to pay to fish to get said unlockables. As expected, Strive looks immaculate and may be the most gorgeous fighting game of all time. This technologically gifted game is helped by a rocking soundtrack, strong stability including a lack of crashes beyond server issues out of the player's control, and a decent English dub for the story mode. The game's biggest technical issue is the long-winded nature of communicating with the server, a process that can take between 3 to 5 minutes. There are few 2D fighters out right now as fun as Strive, thanks to its fantastic gameplay, mostly excellent online connectivity, and stellar visuals with some questionable decisions regarding its online lobby system and story mode presentation hurting the overall package. For longtime players, stepping into the latest world of Guilty Gear will feel like familiar, though unique territory. New fans can enter and be encouraged, without worrying about not having fun against friends or even online players at the same skill level. The game's biggest issue hinders how long it takes to get into an online fight, but not the actual fight quality. A positive other fighting games struggle to maintain. Even if you're not a hardcore fighting gamer, Strive offers enough combat options to entertain anyone for a while, especially online, though offline options do leave something to be desired. Strive is definitely the equivalent of landing that perfectly timed overdrive during a clutch situation.
やるねあげてくぜやるねどうよ今うんだぜガンガンコロコロしてんじゃねえこれで決めるぜ楽園すげえ追い込みだスラックールに決めたろ
Axel wins.